Trudie Mason sitting in for Aaron Rand again today. And we are turning our attention now to mortgage rates. Why? Well, because a lot of people are going to be renewing their mortgages this year. According to some numbers in the Journal de Montreal, across Canada, 1.2 million property owners in Canada will have to renew a mortgage in 2025. And when it comes to fixed rate mortgages, 85% of those renewals are coming to people who experienced a very different situation the last time they signed on the bottom line. That was back when the key policy rate at the Bank of Canada was much lower. And as a result, they probably got a much sweeter deal on their mortgage than they can expect to get now. So according to the Journal de Montreal, in some cases, property owners who have to renew this year may be looking at increases of upwards of 30%. That is incredible. Let's find out whether he thinks it's accurate. We go to an expert. Let's go to, LJ from Under One Roof Montreal. You hear on CJAD 800 Sundays at noon. LJ, welcome back to CJAD 800.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So as a certified residential and commercial real estate broker, is it an overstatement to say you may be paying hundreds more if you're up for renewal this year?
Not at all. It is definitely to be expected. Whether it's going to be 100 or 500 will simply depend on the amount of your mortgage right now, but we're definitely expecting everybody's mortgage payments to go up this year for sure. There's no doubt about that. Depending on when in the year you have to renew, it'll probably be less so as we progress into the year. Right now, we're expecting rates to come down a little bit throughout the course of 2025, so timing will be very important in this. And then obviously your current mortgage balance will be the second main factor in this, but things will go up for sure.
Is this going to be a make or break for some homeowners?
I don't believe so personally, and the reason why I say this is because although people had excellent rates in that 2.5% to 3% range, everybody qualified under a stress test of 5.25%, and the current interest rates today are at about 4.2%, so we're already well below that stress test. Now, even though people qualified at the stress test, everyone for the last 5 years has been used to living with their current payments, which are probably going to be $300 to $400 a month less than what they're going to be in the future. That being said, people are simply going to have to make an adjustment. And I don't say simply to kind of undershadow the reality here, but if you can qualify for it, we might not be able to go on such extravagant vacations. We might have to cut out a dinner out with the family once a week, once a month, whatever it might be. There are some sacrifices that will probably have to be made, but I do not believe we're going to see a rush of people selling their properties because their mortgage payments have gone up by $300 a month.
What about people who are not yet in the real estate market, who might be looking for that first condo or that first house? Do you think this might be a deterrent or something that gives them pause?
The reality is those people have probably been on the sideline for the last 12 to 24 months, and interest rates today are lower than they have been over the course of the last 2 years. Therefore, those buyers are currently very excited at where interest rates are at, and even obviously more excited at the possibility of them continuing to go down over the course of this year. So there's a lot of demand right now, and we're expecting 2025 to be a very big year for real estate. So even if there were some homeowners who simply said, hey, you know what, I can't afford these new payments, I'm going to sell my property, they're going to cash out on a nice equity payment from the increase in value of their properties, and there's going to be plenty of buyers in the market right now looking to pick up that property, so they're not going to be selling for a discount by any means.
So you believe there is a pent-up demand from all those people who are on the fence hoping that rates would come down?
That's exactly it. When we had rates in the high fives or even 6% at one point, everybody was staying very far away from real estate. Now that we're below the historic average of 5%, we're, like I said, around 4.2, and with a strong chance of that going down even further, I'm expecting a lot of buyers to be jumping in. And even just from the demand we've had over the course of the last month, the amount of calls I've gotten so early in the year to book appointments, to start talking about their next house, potential sales, lining up new purchases, it's going to be a very busy year this year.
I always hearken back to when I was in high school and my parents had to renew. This was in the 70s. My parents had to renew at 18%. 18%. And they called a family meeting, and there was that discussion that you were talking about, that, we're going to have to rein things in here. Don't come and ask for extras. Don't come and ask for, the nice sneakers or that new pair of jeans, because this is going to be really tough. Even though, you don't think it's going to be enough to push a lot of families over the brink into giving up their homes, do you think the majority of homeowners will have to have that discussion?
I think there's going to be an interesting percentage of homeowners who will have to have that discussion. Look, unemployment, I believe it is about 6.8% right now. So unemployment is up right now. There's a lot of people who are shifting around jobs. So I think that might be the larger impact. People who were in very secure jobs 5 years ago might not be in the same secure job today. And that might be the biggest impact versus the actual interest rate shift. So I think that will likely play a high role in what's going to happen now. And I think that a lot of Canadians are feeling the inflation that we've had over the last 3 years. So this conversation has probably already been had or already been potentially coming, and this is simply going to force most people's hands at this point.
Would this be a time for maybe the families that are not really on the brink but are going to be feeling the pain to take a look at, say, if they get an annual bonus or a performance bonus or a little windfall or an inheritance? Is this a time to look at making one of those lump sum payments against the principal at renewal time in order to reduce their exposure to the interest rate?
100%. If you can make a lump sum payment, you're obviously going to reduce your monthly costs, and that's fantastic. I don't always love that, because I think that a lot of the time you can typically make a better return on that money if you were to invest it elsewhere. The property is only going to appreciate at the same rate it's going to appreciate today. But the biggest factor is, what's your monthly budget going to look like, and what can you actually afford a month? So if that's going to make the impact so that you can continue living comfortably, then do that 100%, because nobody enjoys being house poor, and nobody wants to live feeling like they can't afford to go out for a movie or a dinner date or anything like that.
And sometimes, it's just peace of mind. It's just peace. When Kevin and I had a mortgage on our house, thankfully for a couple of years now, we've been mortgage free, so we haven't had to endure all this turbulence. But there's a feeling that, we always went with fixed rate mortgages. They were always well under 5%. So we were really in the golden period of very affordable mortgages. But there was always that feeling of security that you're not going to have to worry about it. At this time, with interest rates where they are now and the signals we've been getting from the central bank, would you be recommending a fixed rate mortgage for the security, or would you be recommending variable, gambling on more reductions?
It really depends on the client's risk tolerance. There's a lot of people who want to go to bed every single night and wake up knowing that there's not going to be a change in their mortgage payments, and I completely respect that, and that makes a lot of sense for a lot of Canadians. And there's other people who have a little bit more flexibility on their monthly budget, and they rather make that gamble in hopes of saving money over the next 5-year term. So it really is a case by case. I've seen both things pan out for most people. Historically, the variable is typically the more economic option, but people are really feeling the pain over the last 3 years where the variable rate went up significantly on us. And I think a lot of people are quite jaded by that. So Obviously it will depend on everyone's situation, but they both work depending on who you are and what works best for you.
Once bitten, twice shy. You might not want to go for it. If you white-knuckled it through the past few years, you might not want to go through that again. Because I do believe there's a value to peace of mind.
100%.
If you like to sleep. If you're one of those people. Now, some people lose sleep over their finances, and no kidding. I mean, and the mortgage is a huge part of the family budget. So I totally get why people would say, you know what, it might cost more in the long run, but we've got that security of knowing.
We know. Plan for it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can plan for it too. All right, LJ, thanks very much for your insights. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone again on January 12th when we're back with Under One Roof. Thank you so much.
That's right. Sundays at noon on CJAD 800.